Richard John Schrom, a music teacher in Fertile, Minnesota, was sentenced in Todd County today under a plea deal. A first-degree criminal sexual conduct charge was dismissed. He's been convicted of third-degree criminal sexual conduct and sentenced to 30 days in jail, plus supervised probation for 15 years. Any misconduct could mean a 3-year prison sentence, which was put on hold if he remains law-abiding. For background on all this, here's our earlier reporting. A 30-year-old Richard John Schrom, a music teacher in Fertile, Minnesota, has now been charged in Todd County Court in Long Prairie. Schrom has been charged with first-degree criminal sexual conduct, penetration, victim under 18, and also criminal sexual conduct, third-degree penetration. That first-degree charge carries a maximum sentence of 30 years in prison, and according to court documents, Schrom has admitted to having sex with a juvenile. Reading from the criminal complaint, here's alleged what has happened. On July 24th at approximately 10:30 p.m., a Todd County Sheriff's Office received a report from a nurse with the St. Cloud Hospital of a sexual assault that occurred somewhere near or in the city of Gray Eagle. The reporting party indicated that a patient was sexually assaulted and the hospital was completing its sexual assault kit. The Todd County investigator was notified and conducted the investigation. General information was obtained regarding the juvenile victim. 15 years old female. Richard John Schrom, the defendant. The investigator reviewed and photographs from the victim's father. Several of the digital photographs had been labeled Snapshot Conversation. There was also a photograph labeled Richard Schrom Snapchat Information. In viewing this photograph, it appeared to be the defendant's Snapchat account profile, which displayed the account name as being Dick Schrom 116. In viewing the photographs labeled Snapchat Conversation, they appeared to be text messages sent through Snapchat between the victim and defendant. One of the messages sent by the defendant reads, "I know it's not the perfect answer. There is not enough sorry in the world for me to say. I can at least try, though." Another message from the defendant reads, "The last thing that needs to happen is you getting knocked up." The victim replied, "My mouth is shut. And I know." The defendant then asked, "Are you on any sort of birth control?" The messages continue with the victim advising she is not on birth control. There are additional messages exchanged before the defendant indicates if it's not too late for the Plan B pill and advised he would pay. The victim responded indicating she was not sure how she would get one as she did not want to see him. After reviewing the messages and account information, a preservation request for the Dick Schrom 116 Snapchat account was made by the investigator. After reviewing these photographs, an investigator took a statement from the victim's father, who indicated that she went with a friend to a cabin in Gray Eagle. He was unsure of the approximate location and advised most of the information had been relayed through a relative who the victim confided in. The father indicated that a sexual assault occurred on the evening of July 22nd or possibly in the early morning hours of July 23rd, but he learned of the sexual assault on July 24th after the victim revealed the assault to a family member. On July 26th, the investigator received information from the St. Cloud Police Department advising they had picked up the sexual assault kit and were submitting it to the BCA lab for analysis. The St. Cloud Police Department also provided the investigator with copies of the documents they received from the hospital related the sexual assault, including the BCA sexual assault evidence testing and storage consent form, which had been signed by the victim. There is then a textual report on the patient's description of the sexual assault. The victim indicated she was at a friend's cabin on July 22nd, and she reported she was alone with the defendant after several other people at the residence went to bed. The victim reported she had met the Schrom, the defendant, once last year in August at the same cabin. The victim believed Schrom to be 30 years old and described him as a white male, around 6 feet tall, 170 pounds. The victim confirmed that the defendant had inquired about her age earlier in the day. The victim told the defendant that he was genuinely twice her age, following up, "'Cause I am 15. At the end of the evening, the defendant walked with the victim to the fish house where she was going to sleep. The defendant had his arm around the victim's waist and initiated kissing with her. The defendant made a comment indicating that he knew it was wrong and he could get in trouble for it. The defendant, Schrom, then forcefully engaged in sexual penetration with the victim. The sexual assault occurred outside behind the in-ground pool fence near where the victim's friend had her car parked. The victim indicated she told the defendant between the first and second time he began kissing her that it was a bad idea. The victim advised that she was not okay with kissing. The victim indicated she had just kind of went along with it. The defendant Schrom then allegedly engaged in several forceful acts, eventually leading to sexual penetration with the victim. The victim indicated that she kind of complied, advising she figured if she tried to get away from the situation or say something, it would have made it worse. The victim reported the defendant, Schrom, messaged her via Snapchat following the incident. Victim reported the defendant indicated he was sorry about what had happened, and he told her not to tell anyone because it could ruin his career and marriage. The conversation then went on to pregnancy and the Plan B pill. Victim eventually revealed the incident to her family as she asked a family member how to get her Plan B pill. In the sexual assault examination, there are 4 injuries documented in the areas of the victim's knees. One of the 4 injuries were reported to have occurred prior to the sexual assault. Also documented injury to the vagina in the medical report. A forensic interview was conducted on July 26th with the victim and Child Protection. On July 27th, the Todd County investigator conducted a phone interview with the victim. In these follow-up interviews, the victim reported the assault as previously described. On August 18th, the Todd County investigator went to Polk County where he met with another investigator, Polk County investigator, in reference to this investigation. The defendant, Schrom, was located at his place of employment and transported to the Polk County Sheriff's Office for a Mirandized statement. The defendant, Schrom, admitted to intercourse with the juvenile victim. Schrom provided details consistent with the report made by the victim. Again, Schrom now sentenced to 30 days in jail with credit for 4 days served and supervised probation for 15 years. I'm Neil Carlson reporting for iNewZ.TV.